In this video, we'll have an introduction to Azure Blueprints. In this video, we're going to have a look at Azure Blueprints. Now, blueprints are a collection of resource groups, ARM templates, that's Azure Resource Manager templates, that's the JSON definitions, and role and policy assignments. It goes through a 3-step minimum process. You have to draft a blueprint, publish it, and then assign it to a subscription or management group. So let's create a blueprint definition. So I'm going to click on Create Blueprint. And I'm going to have a fairly simple blueprint. You can see we've got some examples relating to regulatory compliance here. But I'm going to just start with a blank blueprint. So I'm going to call this Blueprint 900. And its location is going to be either a management group or a subscription. So I'm going to choose the subscription that I'm in. Now, a blueprint is a collection of artifacts. An artifact is, as I've just said, a policy assignment, a role assignment, an ARM template, or a resource group. So if you want to create resources, that's when you need the ARM template. So it's fairly advanced stuff when we get to actually creating resources. So I have a user-friendly name for my artifact, so I'm just going to call it Resource Group 1. I'm going to have a resource group name and a location for my resource group. But I don't need to specify them now. I can have them as parameters. So that's only specified when I'm assigning the blueprint. And I'm going to have a resource group tag. So I'm going to call this type, and I'm going to say the value is generated from blueprint. So I can keep adding my artifacts, which are resource groups, ARM templates, role and policy assignments, but no, I'm going to save this draft. So it takes a few seconds, but eventually you can see now it is saved. So my blueprint definitions include a draft Blueprint 900. So I'm going to click on that definition, and I'm now going to publish it. So this is a version 1. And I can make my notes here. So I can then create version 1.1, version 1.2, and so forth. Now that it has been published, it's no longer in draft, I can assign it. So notice there was an option there for delete. So if I just go back to my blueprint definition, I could, at this stage, now there are no assignments, delete my blueprint, but I'm going to assign it instead. So I'm going to assign it to the free trial. In other words, it's going to be enforced. A location of my blueprint, I'm going to say East US, so version 1, and then I have a lock assignment. So it's the same locks that we've looked at previously. We can say read only, we can say do not delete, or we can say don't lock at all. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to say read only. And you can say it may take a few minutes for this to be enforced. So now it's giving me the parameters. Well, I'm going to call this my blueprint resource group and my location for the resource East US. But when I was creating the blueprint, I could have said the location is going to be this, the name is going to be this. There may be other parameters that you'll be doing with policies and role assignments and so forth, and ARM templates. So I'm going to assign this. And it does take a few minutes. So I'm going to now click on this notification. So click the link above to see how it's doing. And it will go through various processes like waiting and adding the locks and so forth. So I'm just going to pause the video until it is completed. Right, now it's succeeded. So I'm going to go into my resource groups and find this blueprint. There it is. So it has created the resource group. It would have created any policy assignments, role assignments, and it would have gone through all of the ARM templates. So here is my resource group. And I put a read-only lock on it. So if I go into logs, I will see read-only. Oh, it's not there. Where could it be? Well, you remember when I was talking about RBAC, role-based access control. And I said that we can do deny assignments, but that's fairly rare. Well, what this blueprint does is it enforces the locks in a deny assignment. So here we can see we are denying everybody. And what are we denying? We are denying deletions. So no, not action, we're saying. And deny assignments are currently read-only, so I cannot remove this deny assignment. Let's see if this is really true. So what I'm going to go is I'm going to go into my resource group and I'm going to delete this. So there's no locks. So let's see if I can actually delete this resource group. And it says no, we have a deny assignment. So what can I do now? Well, when a blueprint is no longer needed, then I can unassign it. So here is my blueprint definition. And I'm now going to delete it. Okay, so click delete. Yes, I want to delete it. Cannot be deleted because it has already been assigned. So before I can delete a definition, I have to unassign it. So let's go back to blueprints. Go to assigned blueprints. Here is the blueprint that has been assigned. And now I can unassign the blueprint. Now remember, there is a lock on this blueprint. So I'm going to unassign it. So notice also, all resources created by the blueprint will remain. So it doesn't actually remove what it has done, with one exception. It's going to remove the lock. So let's go back to my resource groups, to my blueprint resource group, go to access control IAM, go to deny assignments. It's still there, it will take a few minutes. And by waiting those minutes and clicking refresh, you can see that it has now disappeared. So now I can, if I want to, delete this resource group because there are no locks or deny assignments. So click delete and it's being deleted. So now I can go back into my blueprint. Look at my assigned blueprints, no assignments. Going to my definitions, there's one defined. And now if I choose to, I can now delete this blueprint. So blueprints, they are orchestrated role assignments, policy assignments, resource groups, and Azure Resource Manager templates. You draft them, you publish them, you can then assign them, and it's at this stage that the locks that you created once you assigned will be enforced. You can create a new version of a blueprint. You would then have to update the assignment if you want that blueprint to actually be enforced, to actually be published. And then when no longer needed, you can unassign the blueprint. It doesn't delete previously created resources, but it does remove any locks that you've put in terms of deny assignments. And then you can only then, once you have unassigned the blueprints, you can delete it. So these are Azure Blueprints. Now, before we leave Blueprints, just want to say there are two additional RBAC requirements, role-based access control roles. The first one is Blueprint Contributor. You can manage blueprint definitions, but not assign them. And then the operator can assign existing blueprint definitions, but can't create new ones. So the contributor can manage them, the operator can assign them. Additionally, the owner can have all of the Azure Blueprint related permissions, and the contributor can create and delete blueprint definitions but can't assign them. So the contributor RBAC role is separate to the blueprint contributor role. So these are blueprints. They are a series of resource groups, ARM templates, and role and policy assignments all together. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then please like it. And why not subscribe and click that bell? That way you'll be notified about any new videos. It really does help. If you want to find out more about Microsoft Azure, then please click on the playlist on the end screen. And if you want to find out more about our courses, please go to our website. I'm Philip Burton of idodata.com. Thanks for watching and keep learning.